Hello dear friends, this is your personal English coach Divyam here, and in this video we are going to study a wonderful short story written by Ernest Hemingway. This is called The Old Man at the Bridge. So let's begin. On my screen you can see the original story and the meanings of the difficult words listed on the right side. So I would request you to pause the video and note down the meanings of difficult words so that you can revise easily before the day of your exam. Let's jump right into it. An old man with steel-rimmed spectacles and very dusty clothes sat by the side of the road. There was a pontoon bridge across the river, and carts, trucks, and men, women, and children were crossing it. Okay, friends, you should know what a pontoon bridge is. So this is how it looks like in reality. Alright, so you can imagine a pontoon bridge and a lot of carts, trucks, men, women and children were crossing it. Now these things indicate that the village or a particular area or town is being vacated, okay, for some reason which we are not aware of at this point. The mule-drawn carts staggered up the steep bank from the bridge, with soldiers helping push against the spokes of the wheels. What is a mule? Mule is the offspring of donkey and a horse, which has the characteristics of both a donkey and a horse. And these animals are used to carry heavy loads. So mules are being used, which means people are using mule to carry a huge load of their household items. They are staggered up. What is the meaning of being staggered up? It means to walk or move unsteadily. So all the mule-drawn carts are walking or traveling unsteadily from the bridge, with soldiers helping push against the spokes of the wheel. Well, here we see the reference given to soldiers. Okay, so soldiers are helping a lot of people to get out of an area. Okay, they are helping the people, the carts which are drawn by mules, and they've all gathered near some bank of the river on the bridge. The trucks grounded up and away, heading out of it all, and the peasants plodded along in the ankle-deep dusts. So not only were the trucks, men, women, children were all crossing the bridge, but there were some trucks as well which were lined up and they were heading out of that area. The peasant, which means a poor smallholder or agricultural laborer, plodded, meaning walked doggedly and slowly with heavy steps along in the ankle deep dust. So there were some laborers or farmers or people who work very hard were trying to get out of that area which was full of dust. But as we saw in the beginning of this chapter, there was this old man with steel-rimmed spectacle. What is a rim? Rim is the outer edge. So if you have an object with a steel rim, it means the object has a steel frame. So this particular old man had spectacles with the outer edge of steel. Okay, now for some reason, while everybody was vacating a certain place, okay, this old man was not moving. He was sitting right near the pontoon bridge. He was too tired to go any farther. It was my business to cross the bridge, explore the bridgehead beyond, and find out to what point the enemy had advanced. I did this and returned over the bridge. There were not so many carts now and very few people on foot, but the old man was still there. So the narrator is a reporter here whose job is to find out if the enemy has approached that area or not. So well, let me tell you the background of the story. The incident happens at Spain, in one of the areas of Spain, and what is the year? Somewhere after 1900. So if we go to Google and search out for Spanish Civil War, you'll get some information on it. This was between 17 July 1936 and 1st April 1939, and people of a particular area were asked to vacate. Why? Because the enemies were approaching and there was going to be bombs and shootouts and guns and lot of havoc. So the soldiers and the captains had asked all the people to leave that area as soon as possible. So therefore we see that couple of people with their items were vacating that area. And in this para, the narrator was a reporter, as I already mentioned, and his job was to observe that area and report if an enemy had approached. So therefore he had done his job according to these lines, and he knew that the enemy had not approached yet, but he also observed that most of the people had left that area which was in danger. But there was this old man who was sitting for some reason. So the reporter was obviously inquisitive and curious, and he asked, "Where do you come from?" I asked him. "From San Carlos," he said and smiled. That was his native town, and so it gave him pleasure to mention it, and he smiled. "I was taking care of animals," he explained. "Oh," I said, not quite understanding. "Yes," he said, "I stayed, you see, taking care of animals. I was the last one to leave the town of San Carlos. Obviously, now there is a deserted area. People are moving out, and there is this reporter whose job is to let others know if the enemy has approached." And he sees this old man. Everybody around that area is panicking. They are worried, but this old man is sitting right there. So a rational person like this reporter, would be curious as to why he was sitting there. So he struck a conversation and asked his whereabouts. The old man referred to his native town called San Carlos, and he smiled because he felt good talking about it. And suddenly he said, "I was taking care of animals." The reporter didn't quite understand, because you don't really talk about taking care of animals when somebody asks your introduction. So the reporter was taken aback and he didn't quite understand. And yes, he said, "I stayed, you see, taking care of animals." So from these lines, it looks like there was only one thing important in the old man's life, and there was only one thing to which the old man was attached, and that is animals. So he said, "I used to take care of animals till the point where the soldiers had to push me out. Everybody got out of San Carlos, but I was the last man standing until the soldiers came." Now, next lines. "He did not look like a shepherd or a herdsman, and I looked at his black dusty clothes, his grey dusty face, and his steel-rimmed spectacles, and said, 'What animals were they?'" Now here, you can imagine an area which is deserted and there are only two people. So the reporter, as he had done his job, he was just making up a conversation with the old man, trying to make him feel better so that he might start walking. So the old man says, "I used to take care of many animals. There were various animals," he said, and shook his head. "Unfortunately, I had to leave them." So it looks like the old man is not really happy about it. "I was watching the bridge and the African-looking country of Ebro Delta and wondering how long now it would be before we could see the enemy, and listening all the while for the first noises that would signal that ever mysterious event called contact." And the old man still sat there. So the reporter is doing two things at a time. He is looking here and there for any signs of the enemy approaching. At the same time, he is talking with the old man. And Ebro Delta is the delta region of Ebro River in the province of Tarragona, Catalonia in the northeastern Spain. Now, the reporter is constantly wondering how much time will it take for the enemy to enter. At the same time, he was having these conversations. So the old man had already mentioned various animals. So therefore, just to spend some more time and make him feel comfortable, he said, what animals were they? So which animals did you take care of? So the old man said, 3 set of animals. There were 2 goats and a cat, and there were 4 pairs of pigeons. Okay, 2 goats, 1 cat, and 4 pairs of pigeons. And you had to leave them? I asked. Yes, because of the artillery. The captain told me to go because of the artillery. So the reporter asked the old man, why did you leave them? What made you leave those animals of whom you used to take care? So he said, because of artillery, which means guns and shootouts. The captain had warned the old man that he better leave, because if he did not, he might be in danger. He might be shot with bullets. And you have no family? I asked, watching the far end of the bridge where a few last carts were hurrying down the slope of the bank. The reporter wanted as much information as possible. Obviously, if there's an old man, anyone would ask about his family. He said, no, only the animals I stated. The cat, and of course, will be alright. A cat can look out for itself, but I cannot think what will become of others. So, right from the point that the reporter met the old man is mentioning animals, animals, animals. He is not even prioritizing to talk about his family, but only animals. So it looks like the only thing that's important in old man's life and the only thing that he is attached to is animals. And finally he says that a cat is smart enough, it can escape the bullets and stuff by hiding somewhere, but the others, they are in danger, they might get killed. What politics have you? I asked. I am without politics, he said. I'm 76 years old, I have come 12 kilometers now, and I think now I can go no further. So the reporter asked him if he believed in certain ideology or if he was inclined to certain thought and certain politics which were going on in Spain at that time. So the old man said, why would I bother about politics? I am old enough to believe in all those things. The problem why I am sitting here lonely on the side of the bridge is I have walked 12 long kilometers and I am out of energy. I cannot walk anymore. The reporter warned him, this is not a good place to stop. I said, if you can make it, there are trucks up the road where it forks for Tortosa. Forks means there is a bifurcation of roads, one road leading to 2 other roads. So the reporter becomes a well-wisher of the old man and tells him that do not sit here, you can grab those trucks, sit on the trucks and go to a place called Tortosa. You just need to walk a little bit. That's what the reporter advises the old man. I will wait a while, he said, and then I will go. Where do the trucks go? Towards Barcelona, I told him. I know no one in that direction, he said, but thank you very much. Thank you again very much. So the old man said he is not in a mood to go because he is tired. So he said, I'll wait for a while and then I will leave for the place you said. So again, the old man asks the reporter as to where the truck will take him eventually. Where has he to stay after the truck drops him? Reporter states Barcelona, but the old man says, what am I gonna do in Barcelona? There's nobody I know of. But then he becomes thankful and grateful because of the good wishes of the reporter, because of the good intentions of the reporter. The old man looked at me very blankly and tiredly, then said, having to share his worry with someone, the cat will be alright, I'm sure. There is no need to be unique about the cat. But the others, now what do you think about the others? So the old man was tired, as we know. He had already given up. He is tired, he cannot walk. Again he is referring to the animals. So he says the cat will be fine, I'm sure. There's no need to be unique, meaning unable to be still or restless. The cats are restless, so they will find their way. And one important sentence is written over here. Old people need to share their worries old people need to talk, and therefore the old man was also making a good conversation with the reporter. And he is trying to ask questions to keep the conversation going. So the old man asks the reporter, "What's going to happen with my other animals?" The reporter says, "Well, they'll be all right." The old man says, "Do you think they'll be all right?" Then he says, "Why not? I said watching the far bank from where now there were no cars." So the reporter was observing everything as well as talking. So he observed that everybody had gone except this old man, who was constantly asking about his animals. "But what will they do under the artillery when I was told to leave because of the artillery?" The old man said, "While there'll be guns and thundering noises and stuff, what are they going to do? How are they going to be all right?" To that the reporter says, "Did you leave the dove cage unlocked?" I asked. "Yes." "Then they'll fly." "Yes, they certainly will fly, but the others, it's better not to think about the others." So the reporter says and asks the old man if he unlocked the cages of pigeons which he referred earlier. Well, the old man had unlocked them. So the reporter says the cats will be all right, and now the pigeons will also be all right because they'll fly as soon as they hear some strange noises. But the others who cannot really walk, what's going to happen to them? It's really a concern for the old man, and therefore he also insists the reporter not to talk or think about it. "If you're rested, I would go," I urged. "Get up and try to walk now." So, because here we see that the conversation that's going on, it's all about animals, animals and animals. The reporter had done his duty, and now he wanted the old man to leave that place. Although it was not his job to push the old man, but he was a well-wisher. So he said, if you've taken enough rest near the bridge, please stand up and start walking. This is not a safe place." "Thank you," he said, and got his feet, swayed from side to side, and then sat down backwards in the dust. What is swayed? It's a nice word you should learn. It is move or cause to move slowly or rhythmically backwards and forwards, or from side to side. "I was taking care of animals," he said dully, but no longer to me. "I was only taking care of animals." Now, the reporter has sensed that it's no use to talk to the old man, and it's of no use to ask him to leave because he has given up. He's not going to get up. And the only thing he's talking about is animals. Therefore, the next line says, "There was nothing to do about him." So, the reporter now, or the narrator of the story, according to Ernest Hemingway, is feeling helpless. It was Easter Sunday, and the fascists were advancing to the Ebro. It was grey, overcast day with low ceiling, so their planes were not up. That and the fact that cats know how to look after themselves was all the good luck that the old man would ever have. So the reporter is trying to recall what he faced one fine day on Easter Sunday. What is an Easter Sunday? It is the most important and oldest festival of Christian church, celebrating the resurrection of Christ, and held between 21st March and 25th April. Well, it was a nice day. It was a holy day. Fascists are nothing but a political philosophy who believes in centralized autocratic government, and there's a dictator leader who's heading it. So they were nearing towards Ebro, the place that we saw earlier, and there was a reason why there were no planes in the sky. Why? Because it was a grey overcast day, meaning marked by covering of grey clouds. It was a dull day, and it was a day where the planes couldn't fly because of the environmental conditions. That and the fact that cats know how to look after themselves. So the last line is actual summary of the chapter. It tells us what all comprises in the old man's life. It is just the cats. And friends, there is one important irony in this chapter. Do you know what is that? That is, the cat of whom the old man was taking care will be all right. But is the old man all right? No, the old man would probably get killed if he doesn't move. The animals of whom he was taking care will be okay, but the old man would not. So a couple of things we can conclude from this chapter. One important thing is, because of someone else's philosophy, people had to migrate, which is a sad part. All right. Love for animals. There's an old man who doesn't have a family. Looks like his family has abandoned him, or maybe he has opted not to live with his family. There's nothing mentioned about the family. But when family isn't there with the old man, who is giving company to him and keeping him happy and giving him good thoughts and good luck? It is the animals. So love for animals is highlighted. What is the third thing we observe from this chapter? A reporter wishing good for the old man and helping him out in every way possible. He has guided the old man as to where the trucks are, but the old man couldn't. So next thing that you can conclude from this chapter is the utter helplessness that one can face in such situation in civil wars. So you can imagine how dirty the civil wars were during these times, right? So friends, I hope you understood the chapter. This was a request from a couple of students who wanted me to take this chapter in English. I'm going to upload other chapters too. If you have any doubts or concerns, do mention it in comment section and I will address them as soon as I can. I thank you and I hope you have a wonderful day.